Okay, so I've been wanting to record this for a while, and for some reason the vlog exactly thing isn't going to work, so I guess this is kind of a podcast-ish thing. Anyway, there's been a hashtag going around Twitter for a while. It only really gained popularity a couple of days ago when there was a BuzzFeed article about it. But that hashtag is the worst part of depression. And if you follow me on Twitter, it's something you probably saw me post quite a bit. I posted probably about 5 or 6 retweets or more all in a row. And then I followed it up immediately by saying that, you know, I'm not apologizing for the I'm not apologizing for the retweet spam because it's something that needs to be seen. For me, myself, as somebody who lives with depression, it's an important hashtag. And the reason I say so is because there's not enough understanding about mental illness for the average person. And I say that because really it's true. Not enough people understand what it's like to live with any sort of mental illness. And a lot of people think that it's just something you can, think yourself out of. If I had $1 for the amount of time people told me think happy thoughts or just get over it or think about something else or whatever, I would be a very wealthy man. But the funniest thing about that is I would have lots of money, but it wouldn't have changed anything. I would still be just as depressed. I would still be just as annoyed at things and still be just as, everything about it, because it's not just something that, you can get over. It's part of your life. Let me go ahead and actually read off the tweets that I retweeted, so that you guys can see, or at least so that I can try to share one of them, a picture with a quote attributed to Robin Williams. I don't know how accurate it is, but the quote is, "I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless, and they don't want anyone else to feel like that." Another one, and this one is a quote attributed to Stephen Fry. "If you know someone who is depressed, please resolve never to ask them why. Depression isn't a straightforward response to a bad situation. Depression just is, like the weather. Try to understand the blackness, the lethargy, the hopelessness, the loneliness they are going through. Be there for them when they come through to the other side. It's hard to be a friend to someone who's depressed, but it's one of the kindest, noblest, and best things you will ever do." Another one here. Mental illness is an equal opportunity illness. Every one of us is impacted by mental illness. 1 in 5 adults are dealing with this illness, and many are not seeking to help because the stigma prevents that. One of these, the worst part of depression is being blamed for your own suffering. And that has a picture with it. It says, "What not to say to someone battling mental illness. You don't seem unwell. Stop being selfish. Think of the people in Africa. Medication will make you worse. You're not trying hard enough. There are people a lot worse than you. It's all in your mind." That one specifically really, really annoys me because it's all in your mind. Yes, I am very, very, very fucking aware that it is all in my head. I absolutely know that. However, unlike, what people think that can happen. I can't just be like, oh, it's not a big deal. That's not how it is. Anyway, let me keep reading this one. You look fine. Staying in bed all day is just lazy. You aren't trusting God. You're not ill. You have a loving family. Some people have it much worse. Smile. You need locking up. You just want attention. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You just need to exercise. You're wasting your life. And then, of these quotes, of what not to say, my favorite one. When I was depressed, I just got on with it. You weren't depressed in that situation. You were sad. Sadness does not equal depression, and depression does not equal sadness. They are two very different things. Sadness can and usually is caused by something. You are in a breakup, or somebody dies, or you didn't get the promotion you wanted at work, or you didn't get the bonus for Christmas or whatever because of this, that, or the other thing, or even something stupid that you get sad about. You go to the Quickie Mart and they don't have your bag of chips, and you're like, oh well, darn. Whatever it is, sadness is, in my experience at least, it is caused by something, and depression is. Depression can be sadness. It can be sadness. It can be anxiety. It can be annoying. It can be all sorts of things, but depression is not in and of itself sadness. And that's one of the things that a lot of people that don't live with it or don't experience it really don't understand. I don't often talk about my depression. I am very open, and I'm very, very much somebody who shares and talks about myself. Part of the reason for that is I honestly don't really understand relationships much at all. I'm a social creature, but at the same time, I'm an introvert, and being in any sort of group situation, and I'm using group in the broadest sense, group one, more than one person group. Being in any sort of group situation, I don't know what I'm doing. There are some people who don't like me because of that, and that's life. There's really nothing I can do about that. It upsets me, but I don't really know how to deal with that. But I kind of lost where I was going with this. But yeah, that's just part of who I am. I am a depressed person. And like a blind man trying to explain to somebody who's never been blind what it's like, or someone, colorblind or deaf or, whatever, trying to explain to somebody who's never struggled with those things, there's no real easy way for that to be explained. So for me, this hashtag is very important, because it's a way for other people to explain in their own words what it's like to be depressed, what it's like to live with depression, their worst part of depression. And for me, my worst part of depression is that it never ends. It's, a day in, day out, second to second battle with myself about, what, whatever. Here's another picture that I feel explains it very well. What people think depression feels like, and it's a pie chart. It's all one color, and to the side it says sadness. And then what depression actually feels like. And then it shows this pie chart. It feels like hopelessness, self-loathing, isolation, anxiety, part of sadness, guilt, and the largest chunk of the pie chart, the emotional equivalent of watching paint dry. That honestly describes me very well. I'm not sad all the time. That's not quite what depression is. I guess you could say bored, but I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of waking up. I'm tired of going to work. I'm tired of dealing with social situations. I'm tired of being on my own. I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of, I'm tired of technology fighting with me to just get something done. And I'm tired of, everything that has to do with anything. And I'm tired of being tired of all that. But, some days are better than others. Some days I wake up and I get out of bed and I don't have an issue. I get to work and I get done and I'm not having any sort of problem. Some days, I go out and I hang out with someone or hang out with my family and it's a great day and I don't have any qualms. I don't have any issues. I'm just having a good day. I'm having a good time. But some days, and some of you may have seen me tweet some of this on Twitter. Some of you may have heard me talk about this if you're one of those friends of mine in real life who knows me. I talk about this sort of slump, this sort of bad followed by the good. It looks just like a sine wave in my mind. It's not quite. I wouldn't quite call it bipolar. But it that's one word that helps explain it. It's I've got these good times and I've got these peaks and these highs and these hills where I'm having a great day, and then out of nowhere and suddenly everything just feels like it starts dropping, and not like for any specific reason. I'm having a great day. I'm having a great time. I'm hanging out with friends. We're all out bowling, having a couple of drinks, and things are great. People are smiling. I'm entertaining. I'm making my friends laugh. I'm doing all of this stuff. And then out of nowhere, for absolutely no reason whatsoever, things just don't feel right. And for me, that's kind of how my depression manifests. It's some great days followed by some terrible. And it's not quite as predictable as a sine wave either. A sine wave, it goes up and down in the exact same graph. For me, it's, it can be a long, almost plateau-like peak, followed by a sheer drop or a near cliff that only lasts for a little while. Or it could be a peak that looks like a spike because of how short it is, followed by a huge valley or what have you. It's not the easiest thing out there to explain. And so that's why this hashtag to me means a lot. It's helping to, if not educate, at least bring some sort of awareness and some sort of knowledge to people who may not see it. Mental illness shouldn't be a stigma. I shouldn't have to be nervous or afraid or or whatever about mentioning it to people because of how much they're going to look at me like I'm this fucking pile of shit that is you're not even a person, why are you trying, sort of thing. I mean, and that's that's the sort of reaction I get. People look at me when I say that confused, and they wonder why I can't just be happy. And if I could explain it to them, or if I could explain it to you, or if I could explain it to anyone, I would. But there's I've kind of, drawn myself into a lack of lack of anything else to say because it's hard to explain. But anyway, I mean, I've rambled on for 16 minutes now. I hope there's something in here that you can take with you. I hope there's something that maybe you learned, or maybe there's something in here that you can, look at and think of when next somebody who has a mental illness interacts with you. Someone talks with you, or somebody mentions they're not having a good day. That's that's one thing that for me at least is kind of really difficult, is trying to live throughout the day like a normal person, trying to wake up, get to work, go on, and have it so that people don't look at you and think, why is he so why does he not want to do this, not want to do that? Why does he look like he doesn't want to be here? And having to respond with, I'm fine, because I can't say, I'm just depressed for no reason. Because if you say, I'm just not having a good day, people ask you why. And there's no reasoning, there's no explanation. Anyway, I hope you can take something from this with you. And I for those of you who've watched the whole thing and listened to my rambling about depression, leave a comment, on the video or on my Twitter or Facebook or something. If you need to talk to someone, if you need to, say something, if you have a comment on it, if you have any concerns or questions, go ahead and ask me. Anywhere on the internet you can find me. And I'll be glad to respond. I am no expert, and I probably can't help you with a critical situation, but I can get you to someone, hopefully, that can. Anyway, that's it for my ramble here. If you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. And I'll talk to you sometime later. Take care.